Hey team, the Jordan 11 is a great pair and it's no secret that I'm a huge fan of it. Unfortunately, for the most part, building a collection takes a lot of time because only one major pair is released per year. But maybe it's because we can't have too much of a good thing, however we can subsidise that craving with the Jordan 11 Lows. And we've got a fantastic one to talk about today with the release of the Jordan 11 Low Bred. You're watching Hide and Sneakz, so let's go and talk about it. That's right, the Jordan 11 Bred is finally back, and this time in a low version. And it might surprise some people to know this is the first time we've had a true version of this pair. Now if you think about it, you probably thought, hey, I've seen this already, but that was actually a different pair. That was the Jordan 11 Bred Low that released in 2015, but that was not a true to form version. That version had a bit of a difference, being the inside sock liner was red, and this time it's black. I know it's not a huge difference, but hey, if we want to capture the pair that Michael Jordan wore, this is our first time to actually have that opportunity. And because of that small difference, and it's not getting picky about keeping things true to form, it's actually a really good sort of substitute if you haven't had a Bred 11 in your collection. Now it's been a little while since the proper version of the Jordan 11 Bred came out back in 2019, so for some people getting into collecting the past 2 years, you haven't actually had your opportunity to get this. And this is a fantastic opportunity because let's be honest, 11s, when you do wear them with jeans or long pants or whatever the combination might be, you often don't see the top of the shoe, so you kind of can get away with this being a supplementary pair, at least until the proper version of it gets retro, which fingers crossed isn't too far away. Now without getting too much into the details of how you wear it, let's get into the details of how this should fit within your collection and look at it in my miss, maybe or must ratings. Starting things off with, is it a miss? Absolutely not. The Bred 11 is a fantastically cool colorway from an OG lore perspective. Wearability perspective, it's quite easy to fit in with outfits. Black and white always goes nicely, but that nice hint of red on the outsole is that nice contrast piece, but doesn't necessarily overwhelm outfits. So it's great from a wearability point of view. In terms of the lore point of view, a lot of people love their OG colorways, so I can't hold anything against that. Looking at it, is it a maybe or is it a must? Now, it's going to be a bit of a different take on this. Normally, I try to go for a definitive, is it a maybe or is it a must? The only reason I would say this is a maybe for some people is if you're absolutely against the thought of Jordan 11 Lows, or you already have the Breds. Now, I have the Bred, but my pair is actually a 2012 pair, so it's definitely needing a bit of new love and a bit of a replacement. This is a great opportunity for me. However, if you have the 2019 pair, you probably still have good life on this, and you probably won't see this. So in that case, if you've got the highs in a good condition, I would say that's a maybe. For the vast majority of sneakerheads who do love that Bred 11 look, I would say this is a must. So I'm going to put this in must territory because I think more people will fall into that second camp than the first camp. So great pickup if you can get it, and it'll be a great pair to wear in the summertime, which is not that far away for some of our US and European viewers. Moving on to the vibe check. Now the vibe check is my way of looking at a pair and seeing how it compares to other releases, and does it help you capture a similar vibe at a more affordable or more accessible way. Now obviously this is a Jordan 11 Bred Low, so the most obvious comparison is the last pair a lot of people are comparing this to, which is the 2015 release. Now 2015 was quite a while ago, so even if you had this pair, I'd say it's a pretty good chance your pair is probably needed some love, and in that case this is a great vibe check to fill that. Similarly, if you have the high versions from 2019, this captures that aesthetic in a more clean, updated and modern look. If your pairs are old and worn out, this is a great way of picking that up. And if you could, get your hands on some of those other pairs I just named, because from a price point of view, I think this does the vibe check for those pairs very, very well. Now taking the vibe check a step further, and there is another version of Jordan 11 Lows that we often forget about, which is the Jordan 11 Low IE, which has also had a Bred colorway back in 2021. Now a lot of people I imagine would agree with me when I say that the Jordan 11 Low is a superior version to the Jordan 11 Low IE. That said, if you did want to capture the look and aesthetic of that 2021 pair, this does a great job at that, and it's actually a better version because obviously the lows are far more true to form than the low IEs. Taking things a further step back, and if you are looking at this as a Jordan 11 Low comparing to other similar models, there are a few that come to jump to mind that this does capture a similar aesthetic of, but I think is a superior take because the Bred is probably one of the better 11 Low colour blocks. One of the pairs I think of in this space is the Jordan 11 Low in the 7210 colourway. Now what I like about this pair myself, I have the high versions of this, and I think they're a fantastic dark Jordan 11. Unfortunately, if you couldn't get your hands on that, you want to capture a pair that has a great Jordan 11 Low take. And if you didn't like Space Jams last year, and for whatever reason you wanted something that's a little bit more wearable, had a bit more pop, maybe you don't like blue, I think this is a great way of kind of capturing the nod to the great Jordan 11 Low. Alternatively, there was also the Jordan 11 Low on the Bred Concords, which combined the Jordan 11 Bred and the Jordan 11 Concords into a low pair. Now, for a lot of people, this was our way of getting Bred treatment on a low pair for quite a while until they finally released this pair here. Obviously, the upper outer is more based on the Concords. That ballistic mesh that you're seeing on the top is white instead of black, but it does have the important hues that we like. It's got tones of white, it's got tones of black, and then obviously that hero red outsole. So I think it's a great opportunity if you missed out on that pair from a few years back to capture that great Bred treatment in that low space, but also making sure you've got a modern pair. Moving on, it's time to ask Brooklyn her take on this pair, because I've given you my take, but I am obviously a little biased because I love Jordan 11s. So let's see what Brooklyn thinks about this pair and how many purple hearts they should give it, and see if it's a near miss or near misses. Okay, so today we're looking at the Jordan 11 Bred Low.
I think the shoe makes more sense than the high. It kind of just a womp. However, I've seen this shoe before, I believe. Do you own this shoe?
I own the high version of the shoe.
Yeah, it's familiar, and I don't like off the foot. I don't like it, but on the foot, I don't mind it, which is fascinating. But I think with being a sneakerhead who has larger feet, I think you suit the high. I don't know if you suit the low.
I actually don't have any 11 lows at the moment because I prefer the highs.
Yeah, I think I do too. I think the highs look better. The colours are good. I just don't like that it's a low. I'd much rather prefer a high.
How about the back on it? So if you look at the 11 legendary blues I've got there, how do you feel about the high on a high versus a high on a low?
That's fine. It does not make sense. I have nothing against that. Is that something that came up that is people?
Oh, I personally don't like it. So if you look at the Jumpman, you see it's on the side.
Yeah.
There's heaps of room for it to be inside.
Right.
Whereas here it's a small little squish guy.
No, and he makes the difference. He's a pretty cool guy. I would be friends with this guy. So yes, I can see that. So because of that, I didn't notice that at first, to be honest. So if you didn't mention that, I'd probably rate it higher. But because of this, I'd probably give this one 5 purple hearts. It sits in the middle. Yeah, it sits in the middle. It's not overly high, it's not overly low. I am not excited, but I'm not like disappointed by it.
But it's a Jordan 11, that's our engagement shoe.
I only like those ones because they're an engagement shoe. Although probably leaning more towards a near misses, but only just.
So it's near misses?
Only just.
Okay, I'll get them.
You got too big of a foot.
Thanks, babe, for making time for this channel, and I knew you'd have a soft spot for this pair because you do love your Jordan 11s, especially considering it was the pair that I proposed you in. And this, I think, is a great pair, so I would recommend a lot of people pick this up. But while we get into it, let's have a look at my final thoughts on this pair. Alright team, that's game time. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know in the comment section below will you be chasing this pair, and actually I'd be really keen to know what is your favourite Jordan 11 colourway. Mine at the moment is probably either the Gratitudes, the Breds, or the Jordan 11 Pantones, but hey, really keen to see if you guys have a different opinion. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.